Groovy.
One to Horror After Midnight. I'm your host, Slinky Jallow. And as always, I'm joined by my good buddy, KC. And we have a guest host tonight. We have the other half of the Red Rabbit.
For the first time ever.
Mick Sawyer.
Yeah, first time
what's
ever.
up, brother?
That's
What's
not
up,
true.
man?
Hey, what's going on? It's the first time in a long time, I should say, because the last time was Scream 4. We were talking about it before we started the show. Yeah, like, yes, it's awesome. And
Thanks for coming on, man. Seriously.
Of course, man. I mean, we're talking about the Blair Witch Project. I love this. It's like one of my favorite horror films of all time. And we all have great stories to share about this movie. So
probably edited because some of mine are allegedly. It doesn't matter. Yeah. What's up, KC? You a fan of the Blair Witch?
Not much. Excited to talk about this movie. Before we get into it, though, let's get some numbers and all that good stuff.
All right. Let's see if my research was on point, which it never is. The Blair Witch Project.
Excitement.
Yeah. Wait a bated breath. The Blair Witch Project, written and directed by Eduardo Sanchez and Daniel Myrick. Released by Artisan Entertainment, starring Heather Donahue, Michael C. Williams, and Joshua Leonard. The budget for this, yeah, the budget for this is all over the place because I think, KC, you had a good point. I think they shot it for so much, and then the marketing. If anybody remembers when this movie was released, the marketing was nuts for this film.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was everywhere. It was everywhere. So we'll say $35,000. Keep it neat. It was released theatrically July 14th, 1999, with a budget of $35,000. The box office take on this movie, $248.6 million.
That's insane.
Yeah. It was
Wow.
It was described as the second highest grossing independent horror film next to Halloween. And that's saying something, man, because Halloween is that's the standard.
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, if you can't tell, Mick is a big fan.
Repeat that number one more time.
On a budget of say $35,000, it made this is $248.6 million.
That is a lot of buckaroos.
Because that's how it rolls, son. That's crazy. I saw this movie twice in the theater that summer, and each time I saw it in the theater, it was packed house.
Yeah.
You know.
The marketing was crazy. Like when I was a kid, it was like on actual like newscasts. It was on like NBC, ABC, CBS as like news. Like these kids were really missing, and like you really had to go out and see this flick.
Well, it was the first time the internet was utilized into, the marketing, I guess, experience or whatever. Because it was like MTV, they shared, they pushed this movie hard.
I still think it's the world's greatest marketing campaign ever for a film. Like I can't really think of any other movie that did it that brilliantly. Like that's
for a found footage movie too. Like that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not even what you would consider a feature film. Blah blah blah. Brilliant. Like they made this movie with $50, and
absolutely. Like so we should
all right. First impressions.
Yes. Yes.
You're our guest, so by all means,
Okay. Well, if you insist.
Absolutely. I'll twist your arm. Come on.
All right. So me and my mom went to go see it. We went to go see it twice in the theater, and every time we always missed like 5 or 10 minutes of the movie. I don't understand why that kept happening, but it was like, man, what happened that first 10 minutes? Like, how does the same thing happen to the same people twice? And we were trying to get there on time. But anyway, so I saw it in the movie theater, and it was, I don't use this word very often, but it was chilling because it felt so real. And, you know, I was like 15, I think, when the movie came out. And I was just like, oh my God, this is some real shit. Like this really happened. Like, dude, there's like some crazy ass witch out in the woods. And, you know, dude,
Gotcha.
this is a serious problem, you know? I was in full-blown panic mode because, like, you know, the marketing campaign was so genius, was so convincing, and they sold it that well for months.
Like they had an evidence area on the website and all this stuff. Like they sold it. That's right on to say that. They absolutely sold it.
It didn't help where I was living at the time either, so that just really added to my fear and paranoia.
Like, so what happened when you guys left the theater? Like, did you look at your mom? You're like, holy crap! Like,
I can't remember exactly.
We're not going to Maryland.
I can't. Yeah, well, yeah, definitely that. Like, I mean, I don't remember exactly what the conversation was, but I do remember being like, that is absolutely terrifying. Like, you know, and it was just so weird because to say this now, but it's like, I can't believe this shit really happened. You know?
That's funny. So, all right, what jumped out at you? Like, what are some standout parts of the movie?
Definitely, obviously, the ending in the corner. You know, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The standout was the hissing witch sound when they're running out of the tent. Remember? And
She's like, "What the fuck is that? What the fuck?" You see, yeah. That's creepy.
And then when they found Josh's teeth.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Why is that blue shit on my bag? Bah, bah, bah.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, he's the first to go.
See, I was so enamored in that movie at the time. Like, I didn't even think about those things. I was like, dude, this is fucking chaos. You know, this is terrifying. This is crazy. Like, what's gonna, like, I don't even know what to think. Like,
it's bonkers, man. And I mean,
it is.
So what's up, KC? Tell us your first impressions on the flick.
First impressions, like I was saying earlier, like the advertising and everything made it feel like it was going to be something really real. I didn't see it till it came out on VHS. I rented it like a Movie Time or Blockbuster or something like that, and watched it, and it was scary as hell. Everything about it just seemed so real because of the found footage style, the way they did it back then. And being a kid, I didn't see anything like this until this one came out, so it just had a really real feel to it. Still love it to this day, but now
I knew he's going to say this. Knew he's going to say this. It's been
I lived in the country for a long time. It's very hard to get that lost in the woods. It is.
She even says that in the movie. She even says that in the movie. You know, yeah.
So I mean, eventually in part 3 they do explain it. We'll get to that in a few weeks, but
yeah.
With this one, this is still a good movie. What the fuck? Creepy as hell. Everything about it was just awesome. Like, I still love it to this day. So
I watch this every Halloween, man. Every year. You know, my daughter and I used to watch this all the time. All right, let's see. Saw it in the theater twice because the first time we saw it, my buddy and I, when the credits finally hit, we were, the fuck was that? Because this was a lot of people's first found footage film.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm of the opinion where it's done really well, man. It really is.
Oh, it is.
A lot of it's bullshit building up to, the first night they hear noise, blah, blah, blah. It's build up, character development,
it's
yada, yada.
It's really captivating, though, you know?
But they catch all the dumb shit people catch on film in between, like, the real shots and stuff.
That's what made it feel so real.
Yeah. So, you felt like, not that you knew these people, but they weren't acting like in a movie, like, oh.
Yeah, you felt like you were, like, with them on their journey. Kind of thing.
But they were acting like real people. Like, these are people you would be in line with at the store or something. So it's cool to see them shooting at the cemetery. Then they talk to the locals. And that part I always thought was kind of scary because they're talking to the people that live in Burkittsville. which used to be Blair.
Yeah.
And they all have stories like, oh, my grandma used to say if I stayed up late and walked around the house too much, Blair would come get me. You're like, well, that's fucked. Then the lady is telling the story about Rustin Parr or the hunters at Coffin Rock, and her daughter is like, no.
Oh yeah, the little kid.
There's really
no, don't, you know, like,
and then she turns and looks. She's like, it's not true.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah.
You start buying that there's a presence over this town. You were like, wow, these guys really live in fear of a witch, I guess. Then they talked to that lady. I can't remember her name.
She was the weird looking lady in the trailer,
Mary Brown.
Yeah, that's right. And she's talking all this stuff, man, about a hairy witch. It's really creepy, man.
Yeah, because I remember she was like, and there was hair on her arm.
On her body? And she's holding her Bible.
And it's
funny because after that scene,
never touched the ground.
And her feet never touched the ground. I thought that was creepy.
Yeah.
It's then on the way through the woods, they come across these two hunters, and those guys are hysterical. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I like those guys.
The one guy is like, "Oh, you buy into that shit?" It's funny. Like, it's really natural, man. It's not. Doesn't seem like anybody's laying anything on real thick.
Yes. Guy we drinking that day.
Exactly, man. It's really
I always laugh when he says he was like, "Now I know out in them woods over there," and then he was like, "That's such bullshit."
Exactly. He's like, "I'm not buying into that shit." It's really cool, man. Then it's like, all right, the first night they film their bullshit, but when shit starts going down, dude, first thing I thought of was Deliverance, because I was like, oh my god, you know, whatever, doesn't matter. I
didn't see that until like 18 years ago.
Oh man, Deliverance is crazy. We'll get to that anyway. It doesn't. If you have a pretty mouth, don't smile.
Don't be John Voight.
Yeah. One of the parts that freaked me the F out was they're going through the woods. They keep walking around. They walked in a circle, man, over and over and over. And then over land that they had trotted over before, fucking house just shows up.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, wasn't there a tree there? Because that's where they found the footage. Anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, man. A lot of people don't like this movie because I guess there's not a payoff at the end. Spoilers, kids. If you haven't seen this movie, what the fuck are you watching this for?
I guess
I enjoy the ending, man. I think it's right on the money, dude.
No.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
But at the time, when you're under the impression that this is real, you're like, no, dude, this is fucked up.
I don't
like
want to see it, man. I don't want. Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to watch this. Like this sucks. Like these people, we don't know what happened to them. So there's no justice. There's nothing. Like, you know, you're just thinking that like
something went down in the woods, man. Something hit her.
And there ain't shit that you can do about it, you know, like, and it's like, just don't go to Burkittsville, you know?
I'm not, nope. I have no intention. Fuck Maryland.
Just not gonna be there.
But this movie was so big and people were so, I guess, frenzied about it. They kept stealing the sign from Burkittsville, the actual town of Burkittsville.
Oh shit.
Yes, that wood sign in the movie, that's the real sign. Yeah. Yeah, these like little weirdo goth kids kept jacking it and running off, you know.
Yeah,
that's crazy. They shouldn't have used the town's real name.
Thank you.
Yes.
It was a juggernaut, man, because at the mall, after it came out, if you ever went into like Spencer's Gifts, step right up, get your Blair Witch wood figure man, get the one that looks like Chewbacca, or get the one that's on a diet. It was everywhere.
Well, and think about how menacing the name Burkittsville is. Like, this is, you know, it's an intense name.
Well, the Blair Witch, that's a really cool name.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
It's the Blair Witch. And yeah, there was a documentary released by Sci-Fi called Curse of the Blair Witch.
Yep, seen it.
Like I said, dude, it was everywhere, man. You know, everywhere. You go to a convenience store and there were like little necklaces You know, where's Heather?
Because they did one about Rustin Parr too, didn't they?
Yeah. And the lore that they created for this movie. It wasn't, you could tell, like, just by reading some of it, it wasn't just some dude writing crap. They really thought about this. Like, they actually looked up witchcraft and, you know, Irene Treckle or Ellie Treckle, you know, the hand came out of the river. The hunters at Coffin Rock all killed and splayed open and stuff. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and put out like a pentagram and all that.
Yeah, they were tied together in the shape of a pentagram. And when they went back to get their bodies, they were gone. Ooh.
Yeah, and the movie is not just the Blair Witch. It's also Rustin Parr.
Rustin Parr, because
it's like more going on than just the witch.
Well, his house just showed the fuck up. You know, and then that guy tells the story that when Rustin Parr heard voices, he would go get kids, make one stand in the corner, and murder the other kid.
Yeah, because he didn't like the eyes on him.
Yeah.
Because I always think about that guy that was saying that he was telling a story about how his grandparents or whatever would be like, "You don't go to bed early, the Blair Witch is gonna
go get you." Yeah.
It's
no, by all means, man, because there's stuff I'm not gonna remember. But the town did her dirty because I guess they took her out into the woods, tied her to a makeshift rack, and left her there.
Yeah.
So you can bet your ass I would call a curse down on a fucking town that did that shit to me.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's left ambiguous because you don't really know if she was harming the kids or not. It was just, you know.
Just like, this wasn't like back in the old witch trial days, was it?
Yeah, it was. It was.
Okay. Well, that's why it happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, does she float? She's a witch. Does she stay on the ground? She's a witch. That's how it went.
Can she read? She's a witch.
Yeah, dude, exactly. I'm telling you, man, for real. Tituba.
That's how it was back then.
And like,
well,
good.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, that's the thing that I think that's just the thing about that made the movie so terrifying, because you never really saw what the witch looked like, which I think is great. Mm-hmm. And then when you're younger, you're like, man, that's lame though. I didn't get to see the witch, and it's like, no, but then when you get older, you realize, no, that's great. That's what makes it so terrifying, because like you're not you're not a little evil genius.
He's practicing. Yeah, no, absolutely.
But no, I mean, that's what makes it so terrifying, because it's a complete mystery. You don't know what she looks like, except for that Todd McFarlane action figure that they put out.
But it's left up to your imagination.
Yeah,
that's what's like so creepy. You just don't know. You just think about like what she could look like and all that.
It's your imagination is going to make it 10 times more terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Anything they can show.
Yeah, because when also it's just like when you hear that hissing noise, man, like
there's the hissing noise, but when they get chased out of the tent one of the night, you hear it sounds to me like it's antlers.
Right? Oh, yeah.
And they're running, and she looks over. You mentioned this before, KC, and she's like, "What the fuck is that? What is she seeing?" And that makes you scared, because you're running with her, man. You're right there with her running, and she sees something next to your vantage point.
Yeah.
And you're like, should I trip her and knock her down? Like, fucking.
Don't you hear kids laughing too?
Yes, that's terrible.
Later on, in the beginning, it's like he was saying, it almost sounds like antlers, but to me, it almost sounded like they were taking like sticks and like slamming up against trees really hard or something. Like, like just some big loud crackling sounds. And
but like you're out in the woods, bro. You're out in the woods at night. You can't see anything.
The worst wake-up call ever. Like, can you imagine if like you smoked one, and you woke up half high, and then like all that was happening? Like, you want to talk about a buzzkill,
You go instantly sober, and you start running, and you try not to run into a tree. Seriously, man, I've been lost in the woods at night because we used to go camping, and we were in the Pine Barrens in New Jersey, No. Mm.
Oh, you were in the Pine Barrens?
Yeah. So not only did I have to worry about the Jersey Devil, I had to worry about stumbling into a shallow grave left by a mobster's problem. Like, you know.
Yeah, man.
Pine
But if you
Barrens,
put yourselves in these people's shoes, like you were
yeah.
saying, like waking up in the woods with all that shit going on, yeah, it's terrifying.
And then
Yeah.
there's the one part, all the hands hit the tent. So there
Yeah.
is physically something outside of that tent that just shook it. And now you're running from it. That's fucking terrifying, man. That's really
That's when
scary.
you hear all the kids. That's when all the kids start.
That's it. Yeah, they're laughing, right? So
Yeah.
that's messed up, man.
I seriously still think to this day that is one of the scariest scenes ever. Because like
They're
I
helpless.
watched-
They're helpless.
Yeah, and also because I watched it I think like a few years ago. Like it's been more recent than that, but like I watched it just a few years ago, and it's like, dude, I still can't watch this at nighttime by myself. I can't do it. You know, and I know it's such a
I had my
bitch
daughter
thing to
with
say, but
yeah.
like I can't do it, dude. Like there's just because it's like I said, it just goes back to that realness. It feels so real and so convincing, you know, and so like every time you watch it, you feel like you're there. Like I can feel the coldness. I can feel the
Yes.
running
The
down
breath. Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
like I it's God, like, and yeah, God, like it feels very fucking real. Very, very real. And I don't think
they were really tasteful with like the scares. I don't know how else to say it.
yeah.
When again, spoilers, kids, when Josh goes missing, he's just gone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he
what?
just
He went to go take the piss?
disappears.
Yeah, he never came back. Then they Heather finds some fucking teeth.
Oh, here we
It
go.
was that blew my mind, man. When I saw that, I was like, oh well, he's dead. He's a wall mount somewhere. Then the house later that night. Before they get to the house, what wakes him up is the wailing of Josh. That's him.
That's
Yeah,
what
it sounds just like him yelling.
It's him. What freaked me out, aside from the very end, were the handprints in the house.
Yeah, all the little kids' handprints. Yeah,
When I first saw that, I was
going
like,
up the stairs, it looks like bloody, like handprints is everywhere.
see, I got the book. Look, there's handprints on the book.
That's cool.
So, I remember when I picked this up, I was like, oh God, oh no. But yeah.
That's terrifying. Really terrifying. And by the way, I think I had that book back in the day. Like I'm almost positive I had it. Like
it's good, man, because I'm a big fan of the story and the story proper, and it's really well written, man. And that book it is. There's journal. It's the notes from the sheriff. It's emails from a private investigator. It's all fiction, but the narrative is
very elaborate.
Yeah,
very elaborate.
You know.
Yeah, because like it's.
You look shell shocked right now, dude. Like you look actually kind of scared. You're just.
I am a little bit, you know.
I'm not taking the trash out, dude. I'm not going out there.
And I'm in a corner of all things. So like, there you go. You know, like, well, and then the other thing is too, the one of my biggest complaints, it's not with the movie itself. It's we have never gotten a real proper release for Blair Witch Project. Like as far as like Blu-rays, you get kind of like this bare bones one. I'm wanting like an Arrow or Scream Factory edition of it, like where it comes.
That'd be awesome.
You know, like where it comes with like a second disc, and you got a whole new retrospective of it. Because how great it would be.
Koozie version, man. Seriously.
Yeah, like
this is what we got. This is the one everybody has, I think.
Yeah.
You got
the same copy.
Yeah. Then part 2, we'll get to this later.
Oh yeah.
I know part 3 had a 2-disc Hootie Hoo on Blu-ray.
I
think so. I have the DVD copy.
Yeah, I have to get one. I don't have one. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. There needs to be a big shiny, if you will.
Like Criterion did one. but I think it was only for like the
Blair Witch?
UK. Yeah, like they did like I'm pretty sure it was Criterion that did it. And I'm like, and it looked really cool because like the booklet of it, like it looked like a book, the case of the DVD or whatever, like, and I think they had it on Blu-ray too, but it was like it was a different region or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
why is America so cheap that they can't do like a version like that here?
You're gonna have to get an all-region player, brother.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
yeah. I got a couple movies I can't watch at all because they're not made. For
I almost
US.
fell for that with Madman because Arrow had a release of Madman, but it was region B. I almost bought it by accident. I didn't realize it.
Yeah, it happens.
You know. So all right.
Infuriating.
Well, for movie collectors, you're just drats.
Yeah.
So when like the hubbub for the movie died down, all right, there was a girl in the theater when I went to see it, and you made me think of this story when you said this is real. Holy shit! No, it's not. The families of these victims, if they were real, are not going to let a studio put the movie out of their final moments.
You know,
It's-
No, not at all.
I really wish that I would have thought about those things.
It's that sense of wonder, though, that movies instill. You know?
Yeah, when it came out, I was pretty young, so.
See, I was an old man. I just graduated high school, so.
I was, my God, I was in like 9th grade. Like,
Noobs.
you know, but I'm like,
I think I was even younger than that.
Casey, you said you were like 12 or 13, I think.
I would have been 12 when it came out, 13 when I first saw it.
So I'm the only one that had their wits about it. Okay, got it, yeah.
Yeah,
I was a young child.
Stupid teen.
The fragile mind.
Yes, it warped your fragile mind. Warped your fragile mind.
I was a dumb teen full of hormones and overly dramatic about everything. I like, and then like on top of it was just like, you know, I didn't have that skepticism then. I was just optimistic, and you know, I think I would have quelled some of my fears if I would have had that kind of critical thinking. Then, like, wait a minute, it's a good point. Their families wouldn't have released that stuff. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah.
Because think about it, it's their final moments.
Yeah.
You know, pretty much. They never.
Unless they wanted to get rich. That's the only thing I could think of they would do.
Exactly.
They wanted like a big paycheck.
And then that turns into like a Geraldo show and Phil Donahue. But whatever. But like, see, all right. Believe me, I'm not done talking about the Blair Witch by any means. But I want to mention another film.
Segue.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this, Casey. I've told you about this movie, but I'll be honest with you, it's hard to find.
It is. It is.
I lucked out and found it in a pawn shop like 10 years ago, but I saw it on IFC around the time the Blair Witch came out. The last broadcast.
You told me about it. I've never seen it.
It's very similar. It's about there's a cable access show about like,
it's like a
the
public
mysterious world. Yeah, like cryptozoology, ghosts, shit like that.
Yeah.
They go on a hunt for the Jersey Devil in the Pine Barrens. And it's similar in a lot of ways. They all get killed.
Okay, I'll check that out sometime.
It's good, man. I like it.
It's really, really good. Like, me and Steve from We Mask are really big fans of it too.
Yeah, I love this movie. Because I'm from Jersey.
Great.
So the Devil's Jersey is going to get you.
I saw it on HBO or Cinemax around that time. Like, because I wasn't aware of IFC at that time. Not yet, at least. Like, it wouldn't be until like 4 or 5 years later that I would know about IFC. But I remember when that came out, just being like so you know, it's like, wow, you know, I wasn't as scared of it as the Blair Witch, but it was still disturbing.
Because I know about the Jersey Devil.
It's
a thing in New Jersey, man. Yeah.
You know, like, but yeah, like it's great, very underrated. I'm glad that we talked about it like a little bit.
What I wanted to mention is that it came out, it was released in 1998, very independent, very low budget, right?
Yeah.
The thing that, listen, to whoever's watching this, I'm not insinuating in any way that they ripped it off, blah, 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 blah. What I'm getting at is that I think if this movie had some rich uncle behind it to help with marketing, I think it would be a lot more well known.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with independent films.
Yeah, it stinks, man, because like a lot of them don't have that rich uncle. But it's really well done. Like they made it on an Apple V computer. Like it's just,
Wow.
It's really cool. Like the news articles, blah blah blah. They interview all these different people because it was a big spectacle in the media. Like it's really cool, man. And for such a low budget movie, they got a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
So again, I think this movie would have maybe captured some of that Blair Witch magic.
Yeah.
Before the Blair Witch. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. It sounds like it'd be something pretty good to check out.
It's cool. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of found footage, but it has to be done.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. You and me, like found footage.
No, I've grown to love found footage over the years, like a lot. So yeah, I definitely agree.
When something comes out and it's fresh and new, everybody, oh well, they did it, we can do it. No, you can't. There's a reason people flocked to that movie because it was, everything was presented so great and so awesome.
Yeah, not everybody can do a found footage film.
Yeah, so for
the right way. I mean, anybody can make a shaky looking movie. Doesn't mean it's going to be good.
Exactly, man. And YouTube is inundated with them. Like there's hundreds of them on there, maybe thousands. Again, if it's done well and presented in a certain way that has a hook, not just, hey, we were staying at the cottage and just goes to eat all the French fries. Ooh. That's lame.
Yeah, like the Blair Witch, like it has so many different elements all in it, like Coffin Rock. When they think they're lost or whatever, but eventually they find where they're looking for like a cemetery, but it ends up being like a bunch of piles of rocks. Where I think it's like an Indian burial ground or something.
Yeah.
You got that. There's so much build up and so much going on in this movie.
You got to be kidding me! There's no way we camped in between these piles of rocks. It's creepy, man, and same thing with the last broadcast. They take an established legend, an established creature, lore, creepy shit, and they go out in the woods when they shouldn't.
Yeah,
shit goes
pretty
down.
much.
Yeah,
I love camping,
dude. I camping.
I don't know if I'd camp in the Black Hills though.
Yeah, no, never. Not even going near that place. And I'm staying the F out of the Pine Barrens too, because I know about Old Mother Leeds. Yeah, so what? Let's see. Any last words on the Blair Witch?
I still think it's one of the greatest found footage movies ever made. It's hard because I never thought that I'd say this. Well, at least not then. I feel like that and the last broadcast are like neck and neck with each other. And as far as like how much I enjoyed, the film, because if I had to, like, of course the Paranormal Activities, those are really good movies too. Like I enjoyed them. And the house that October built, but
yeah, I enjoyed that one too. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that one's really good too. Like,
I actually bought it.
But
for me to buy it, I gotta like it, man.
Yeah, I need to get it too. Like, but no, it's definitely one of my favorite horror films of all time. I don't know if it would be in top 5 or top 10. I can't do top lists. They're endless. But
I
you know,
can't do
like
it either, man. I like too many flicks, dude. So yeah.
same here. Like and yeah, like and I'll just never forget the impact that it had on me. Like even with We Massacre, you know, we always mention or reference the Blair Witch Project or you
Mhm.
know, one way or another. Like our frame of reference for found footage is the Blair Witch. That's immediately where our minds go. So, you know, it kind of tells you that's how impactful of a movie that was, you know, for me and everybody that I've known, you know.
Well, I give the actors a lot of credit in it, man, because they're going
Yeah,
through
they
a
still
whole range of emotions. Like they're just getting
that's why I
deeper.
don't understand there's not Academy Award nominations for people in horror films. You're acting out the most powerful emotion ever, fear. You know,
Yeah.
like
And a lot of
and
times you think you're going to die.
yeah,
So this is it.
exactly.
You're just coming apart, man. It's shame. It's a shame.
Yeah. Like these guys had to go through a lot. They had to like hike up mountains, or not mountains, but huge hills, cross streams on logs. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
exactly. They were
actually
in the
doing
woods.
that. That wasn't
Yeah.
like a stunt man. That was like
They
them.
weren't staying at a hotel at night.
Yeah.
That was them. They were dirty. They were grungy. Their balls fucking smelled. Heather's really dripping snot out of her face.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, having two men in a tent with one woman and no sex.
Well, listen,
You
if I thought I was
know,
gonna
I
die,
thought about that too. Like, you know, I would have been like, my argument would have been like, hey, listen, it's a stress reliever. You know, like we're
are you
in a
tired of
very
being awake? Yeah.
yeah. Well, you know what? Let's fix that. You know, like really, I'm glad you said that, Casey. You know,
I
I
used to
always
think that
thought
all the
about
time.
that.
Like, why aren't they turning her into a pincushion? I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.